right, so this is part of the process that we leave out because we think it's boring, but maybe there's someone out there who really wants to see the behind the scenes, so to say. So I'm printing out my photos. This is an Epson PictureMate PM400. I got this 4 years ago and it's been working really great. I haven't had any problems with it. I have moved 3 times since and no problems connecting with the Wi-Fi or anything like that. All the storms we get in Oklahoma and it still connects just fine. And look at this print. Look how vibrant that color is. And it prints them so well. Of course, this is Luster photo paper by Canon. I actually have it on the floor here. Photo Paper Pro Luster. It does come in letter size and I do have to trim it down. It is by Canon. I was gonna buy more because I'm about out. Like, that was my last sheet and they don't have this specific name, but I saw one that looks very similar and I'm gonna buy it and see if it's exact same, because sometimes Amazon will do that. They'll change the name, but it'll still be the same product or update their packaging. Then once the photo is printed, I will bring it over to my paper trimmer. You can see here I already have some that are already trimmed, different size borders, and it doesn't bother me too much on a notebook because a notebook's kind of just freestyling a lot of it. You know, you just kind of go with it. It's not like a traditional 12 by 12 layout. This is just more casual scrapbooking, I should say, not so formal. Anyway, I bring it to this trimmer, and this trimmer I've had for years. Of course, I switch out the blades, but it's held up very well, and I love it. It's a great investment. I think now it might be close to $50, $40 to $50, but it is so worth it. Buy Fiskars. Just buy the replacement blades anywhere, like a Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I try to keep the same size border if there's already borders here. This photo white border is smaller is probably because these 2 side borders were probably really small, and then I just trimmed down the other ones that were maybe wider so that they could all be the same size all around. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. Okay, trim them up, and then I will put them in groups of the day.
So that one is, I want to say, this was the same day here.
Through my app, I have a folder where all the photos are from one state. I'm talking about travel. And then when I print them in my app, I'll just choose what photo goes best on the collage that I'm doing. It's not necessarily that if we went to the botanical gardens, then the collage will only have botanical garden photos. No, if I have something like this in my app, like I will choose, oh, well, I want this photo to be wider. So then I'm going to look for a photo that I don't need so much the same space because it's going to be a smaller size than the one next to it. So I'll find a photo like this one. If that makes any sense. If that doesn't, say, Lori, I got to see this through the app. Like, you need to record your on-screen phone so that we can see what you mean. You want to start printing small photos like this through an app and you want to know more, leave me a comment below. So this is an example of many little photographs, different sizes. I printed most of these on a 5x7. The PictureMate 400 does print up to a 5x7. Made a collage, and then I decided to individually cut them instead of keep them in the collage it was printed. So that way I could move the photos around, just like the angle of the photo. So this flower looks like it's going like that. So maybe in a collage it was on a bottom right-hand corner, it just doesn't seem right. So cutting it up, I could get to put it on the notebook where I want to so that it'll make sense at the angle photo's taken of. Yeah, so all these photos my daughter took, and the collage was so fun to put together. Just admiring her 5-year-old photography artwork. Also, nothing is permanent. I did it with repositional tape. I have 2 different kinds. This dot liner, you can find it on Amazon. This is roller tape, and this is not repositional, but the one from scrapbook.com doesn't say it's repositional, the yellow one, but I find it to be a little more forgiving if you want to move. So that means it won't rip your pages like this one. This one will rip your paper. I'm going to use the paper that came in the notebook just because I think the photos pop out more, so I'm okay. But if you are one to move around your photos, I highly suggest that you get repositional tape. Okay, so my photos from my phone have been printed, trimmed, and I put them in the pages, kind of set them up per day, if you will. They could be moved around. It's like a good starting off point. So I also have these little cute kitty cat sticky notes. Here I put first 2 days in Slack, and I put Nathan's phone, meaning there are more photos in my husband's phone that I need to print before I do this page. And then once I have done what I put on the sticky note, of course, I'll just take it off and throw it away. But until then, it stays there. So this little divider here, I have Youth Night Through Ellie's Eyes, meaning my daughter took a whole bunch of pictures that night. And then I put in these block letters, Youth, because I think I want to buy a stamp that is thick and blocky. And then I put trim for a divider, so I have an idea. Maybe put youth and then like kind of trim around it and make it into a divider. Something like that. And then I put the rest of the photos here. Of course, I can move them around, but if I don't, it's okay because I kind of like this placement going on here. Same thing for here. This one is another day. I might add and a scrap piece of paper here to divide the day. That's the only photo I have of the meetings that we had in Sacramento, and I know there's got to be more. I don't know, because my husband was preaching, so he couldn't have taken photos. We'll see. I hope there's more photos of that. Okay, so pretty much the same thing throughout. This tape, if you're wondering, is actually for dies. It's repositional, kind of like washi, but it won't damage your photos, it won't tear your paper, it just barely sticky, if any. And I bought it on scrapbook.com. And just kind of mapping it out, I guess. I still need to add more photos here. I don't have a sticky note that says that. Because then, now I remember, but come to it, I'll be like, why is there so much empty space? More photos on Nate's phone. I will for sure know. Here it says hide this with something. So I noticed that this is not black and white. This is kind of like a sepia tone. So I'm gonna have to cover this up with a scrap piece of paper. Maybe have like a flip or something. So that sticky note is there to tell me that. And then this. Oh, so we went to a really awesome coffee shop, and I thought I kept the cup, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to look on it on Google Maps and probably print it out and just journal about it. Even though it's not my own photo, I'm okay doing it, because that was the best latte I ever have, and I have had quite a few from many different places. The seasonal latte, I can't even remember the coffee shop that my husband does. It's close to Chinatown in San Francisco. It was so delicious. I'm sorry I can't give you more information about it, but I will whenever I start to make a spread for that. So, okay. So here we go. Do you see how it's so different? Like, look how different this is from like this. Yeah, like California, it was just a different vibe than the whole beachy thing, even though it's right on the coast. I'm missing a whole day here that I don't have my phone. And then we finish with the Joshua trees. And so I'm glad I have a few pages. I don't think with Germany I had any pages, but I'm glad I have a few. Like, let's say I want to move this to the back or something, I could have a few pages to play with to shift them. So there we go. So that is kind of like my prep before I start documenting this notebook. It's very different than actual junk journaling. There's not really much of this thought into it. I know, because I used to junk journal before I actually came to scrapbooking, like officially picked up the hobby scrapbooking with scrapbook paper and scrapbook stickers, archival things, I should say. That was just kind of sit down, stick and plunk, and just let it flow. For these travel ones, it's a mix of something kind of mapped out, and then there's a little bit of free flow with the embellishment and stamping and decorating the pages. That's where I kind of go a little free. But as far as the photos, they're very important to me, where they are, where they're placed. So I do want to do some prep work with that. I do have memorabilia, but it's, for instance, let's get this. This is from Chinatown, but I won't strategically place it like I did with the photos. I will have to see what scrap piece of paper I'm going to use and see how I will use the ephemera. Maybe I want to make a flap. That doesn't really come in until I get the pretty paper out too. Like I said, a little different than junk journaling, but it's a lot of fun. Give me a thumbs up if you are going to follow along